Living just enough for that city, baby. Hey everybody, good morning. If you were watching the stream right before this with Jason, they were doing some remixing and some mixing, and we ended that stream, got cut off a little bit, but man, we were grooving. And if you are watching the replay, hello, on Fridays there are master classes for audio, which is super fun, so you can tune in for that. I believe that it starts at 9:30 every Friday. If you want to hang out with Jason Levine, and that's where that song was. It's gonna be stuck in my head. Living all day. So welcome. This is not the audio stream, even though I am gracing you with my glorious audio. My name is Andrew Hochradel, and this is the Illustrator Daily Creative Challenge, where we learn a little bit about Illustrator every single day. And yes, it is Music City again, always. You know that I love to sing in here. All right, let's start out with this. This was my actual open, and so let's pretend like we're just starting here. Let's do this. There we go. And here and then back, and we say, all right, I need you to pick a card, any card, and here is my guess, a magic trick. The two of spades, the two of spades. So with the thousands of people that will probably watch this, I'm going to be right at some person. And so we're just going to say it was a successful magic trick. That was my open for today. We got distracted by the song. So let's go ahead and hop in. And hey, Jason is still in chat. Let's go ahead and get started today. We are continuing our journey through time and through the history of visual communication. Today we are going back to the Renaissance, really end of like the Dark Ages, beginning of Renaissance kind of area. We'll be in the 1430s today. Usually, I don't know, that's not like a time period that I would think about. We are going to be in the 1430s today, learning a little bit about a design movement. We'll be working in Illustrator, and it is not the last live for today, Bernadette, because right after this, I believe there is an XD masterclass with our friend Howard Pinsky, and then at 2:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, I'm back, yours truly, with an episode of Adobe Office Hours, which is a show to help you level up your creative careers. Today is our season finale of summer camp, so we're going to hang out, do lessons learned. It's the perfect time to tune in, 2:30 p.m. today, right here on behance.net. All right, so let's go ahead and hop in with the things that I need to tell you about. The very first is bit.ly/AI Discord. That's the place to get connected. That's the place that you're going to drop off your work once you're done and get some feedback from our awesome mentors. The other thing is right here, behance.net/challenge/illustrator, and this is the place that you will get all of your source files. Now, you do need the source file today. It is sized to what we're using. And hello, Aran, Shabbat Shalom. Hello. You do need the file for today, so if you just want to scroll down to playing card design, that's what we'll be working on today. It is sized up for you, and we're kind of going to be actually breaking the source file down a little bit, so it's going to be easier if you have it so that you can follow along with me. You also can watch any of the replay videos if you've missed any of them. All right, so I said I had 3 minutes of announcements. That's all we got. We're moving right along. So let's go ahead and I think that we actually have a different moderator today. Wade is not here, but again, we're pretending like Wade is coming to visit. There were some continuity errors with this bumper. Let's hop in, have some fun. If you're just joining us, we are in a series called Once Upon a Design, and we are using a time travel bathtub to travel through time to different modes of graphic design history. So today, we are going to continue that journey. Let's hop into the bathtub and see where it takes us. Hello?
Hey, Andrew, I know you're streaming and everything, but I just wanted to check and make sure that everything is ready for my visit.
Yeah, it's next week, right?
No, that's tomorrow.
Oh, it's happening tomorrow.
Yeah.
I gotta go. Oh, hello. We're here, and we are We are here at the beginning of the Renaissance, the end of the Dark Ages. I have some playing cards here because this is actually what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about something that is called copperplate engraving, and specifically a person in history that was super influential and really one of the reasons that we still have printing around today. And this person was known as the master of playing cards. How cool is that? To remember it in history as the master of the playing cards. And that's what we're going to be looking at today. He was alive and working in the 1430s, and this was a time that printing was really expensive and really hard to do. And so he became a master of creating these amazing works with copperplate engraving, which is basically a piece of copper, and instead of doing like a printing press or doing woodcuts, you'd be able to kind of work with this copper, make a relief, you would fill it with ink and then wipe it clean and then press it to paper, and it would leave the ink on the paper so you could make playing cards. And printing was something that was reserved for high royalty at the time, and he really started to bridge that gap. And it was more than just design history and more than just visual communication. It really was like a sociological shift of having printing accessible to everyone. And something that was so high-end now was something that everyone could have in some playing cards. So it was still very rare and still hard to print, but it was more accessible to everyone. And so it started to even out that equality in printing. So interesting little note there. And we are going to be working with some playing cards today. We're going to be designing our own. But instead of using these, right? So we have, what, spades? These are both spades. What are our 4 different suits that we use in card making? Because we're not going to use those today. And yes, someone's saying we did a little bit of college printmaking. Absolutely super fun. A lot of people have done this with potatoes. If you've ever done this with a potato, let me know. You carve into the potato, put it in ink, and then press it. It's a common thing that I see happening. So we're going to hop over into Illustrator and let me know what those 4 suits are so that we can get started, and I'll tell you a little bit of history. Today we are going to be jumping all over the place, like literally all over the place. I'm going to try to show you as many cool things as we can today. Here's what our challenge says. I'm going to go a little off script because there's so much fun stuff trying to do this style. Design a set of unique playing cards using layers, brushes, blend modes, and the swatch panel. Lots of things, so we're going to get through as much as we can today. Let's go ahead and hop in, and your homework is to research copperplate engraving and the master of playing cards. Go ahead and just give that a Google in your free time. And yes, the 4 suits. Colby says Hufflepuff, Ravenclaw, Slytherin, and Gryffindor. Absolutely. No, the correct answer, diamonds, hearts, spades, and clubs. So back in the day when the master of playing cards was working, there were actually 5 different pieces of cards. So there were flowers, birds, deer, beasts, and man. And so those were the 5 real categories of playing cards. So today we are going to be working with flowers, and we are going to be creating a playing card. Now, when you see a playing card, you can see that our artboard here is made out to be a playing card. And I'm going to show you a lot of technical stuff today, so it's not really going to be the most designy. We're going to kind of just learn about technical things to help you as you design. And as we look at playing cards, let me grab the jack here. You can see that this playing card is mirrored, right? The top is the same as the bottom, and it's kind of just mirrored across. It looks like it could also be mirrored at like a diagonal. And so I'm going to show you how to mirror that on either way. So there's a couple different ways that we can do this. And because this is kind of old, we are going to use the old style and create flowers. So we're going to do a flower playing card. We're going to make this the Queen of Flowers, of course, a little midsummer shout out there. And I'm going to use the text tool right here. I'm just hitting T to grab that text tool and then S to grab the scale. And I'm just going to add that Q in here. I'm going to use the eyedropper tool and just grab this font type over here. That looks good to me. Why not? And I'll put this up in the corner, right? That looks good. So today is going to be another day that we do things in 9 different ways. So we are going to grab this, and here's one way that we could do it. We could copy, Control C. We could paste, Control V. Use the rotate tool. Hit, oh, sorry. Thank you. Man, y'all are great. All right. So I made a Q. That's all it is. Yes, oh man, I'm so sorry. So I made a Q. That's all you missed. And what we can do is we can rotate that by just hitting R and rotate that to the other side. Get it over here, but we're going to have to align it and do all this stuff. That's just going to get really tough. And so the way that I like to do it, okay, and this is going to get a little bit crazy, so follow with me here. I'm going to take the pen tool or the line segment tool, and we are going to divide this in half at a diagonal, right? I know that I basically want the left top side, so all of this area, to mirror what happens down here on this side. So we're just going to click and drag across the way, and this is basically just showing us where the mirror is happening. Now, here's where it gets crazy. What we're going to do is we are going to actually select this right here. We're going to select this shape, and we are going to make a new layer. And the way that we do this is we're going to work a lot in layers today. We're going to hit this plus button, and it's going to make a new layer. And so here I'm going to go ahead and name this card mirror. And with this selected, I'm going to select both of these things. So I'm selecting the letter as well as the line. And I'm going to click on the card mirror layer. I'm going to right click and go to Arrange and Send to Current Layer. Now you can see that it's all highlighted in blue right now, but when I click on the Send to Current Layer, because I have the red layer of the card mirror selected, it's going to turn everything red, right? You can see all those reds there. Now what we're going to do, this is where it gets crazy, stick with me, is we're going to apply an effect to this layer. So not the things on the layer, we're going to apply an effect to the layer. So check this out. We are going to go up here and we are going to click on this little dot next to our layer. It says click to target, drag to move appearance. So we want to click on this little dot, which is right next to this red. And what that's going to do is it's going to select that whole layer. From there, we're going to go to Effects. We're going to go to Distort and Transform. And then we are going to click on Transform. And what this is going to do is it's going to transform that entire layer. Now what we want is we want that layer to reflect the X, which is this way, right? So we want it to reflect the X, so we're going to click that right here. And then we also want it to reflect the Y going down. So we want it to go boop and boop, just like we see on the other side. And now you can see that it's perfectly mirrored on that side. But there's a problem, right? It's just mirroring it over to that side. And we want it to actually have a copy instead of just being the thing that we've made mirrored. We want it to be a copy. So we're going to hit 1 on here. And when we hit 1, it's going to make 1 copy of the selection. And we're going to hit OK. So now you can see we have a copy of that cue. And when we go in here, if we want to, on this layer, if we make a circle, let me fill it with a color. There we go. It's going to make 2 circles for us. And it's actually just mirroring everything on this layer across this line right here. So you do have to have the line, you have to keep that line, but it's mirroring everything on that layer, right? Pretty cool. So let's go ahead and show you how to make a little flower. Maybe we want to make, maybe we want to make like a regular queen. So let me pull up real quick. I actually did one before stream because I'm prepared. Let me pull up this reference that we can actually use. So let's see here. I'm just going to drag this in. So this is a reference that I had for before stream. Oh, and I put it on the wrong layer. So you can see if you add something to that layer, it actually mirrors it everywhere. So we can come back to our layers panel and we're just going to go back down to this bottom layer and I'm going to paste that reference in there. So we're going to make a queen, make sure that we're on the card mirror right there. And we're just going to try to keep it very symmetrical. We want to do outlines, and I'm just going to do this real quick for time's sake. We're going to do a couple of these, make one of these, do this down here. There we go. So we're going to try to make just a queen here that's wearing maybe a little crown. And you can see as I work in one place, it's actually mirroring it down so we can see live what's happening, right? This is a super useful hack. One of my favorites. I actually just learned this recently of being able to mirror it like this. So I don't know why the queen is going to have a beard, but she is going to be a bearded queen. And maybe it's like a cowl of some sort. And let's give her just a little smile here. Oh, smiley queen. And you can see that now it is mirroring those across the way. Now, if we're looking at this playing card here, so let's go ahead and go back here. You can see here that there's actually some patterns happening inside a shape. Now, the way that we can accomplish that when we're working is if we want maybe to have some kind of semicircle here, right? So I'm just going to make a quick little circle, and we'll cut that in half using the Pathfinder tool. Just going to cut a little half there. There we go. If we want to maybe do a fun pattern in here, check this out. What we can do is we actually select this shape, and over here, instead of having draw normal, we're going to switch this to draw inside. It's the third one on the corner. And we're going to make this the red color. Yeah, I've grabbed some. There we go. We're going to make this that red color, and we are going to click on inside right here, draw inside. And now as I start creating shapes, it's going to stay only inside here. So let's create just a little flower shape right here. And you can see that it's only drawing that shape inside of the shape that is selected. So, right, we're getting a nice little kind of cool inside that shape there. And what we can do is we are actually going to double click. And if you ever miss a selection, because it's draw inside, you'll see that this is actually blacked out now, and we can double click to get inside that shape, and then we can start working again inside the shape. So here's another way to do some reflection, and that is going to Object, we're going to go to Repeat, and we're going to click on Radial. And the radial repeat is going to basically make a bunch of copies here within this, so we can create kind of this cool pattern. And maybe I want to do less. Let's just do 4 here to create that pattern. And then it looks like it's a little too big, so I can bring it in. You can see that they start to overlap, right? So maybe we want them just barely touching to create that kind of cool look. Yeah, that looks good. So you can play around, and then we can start to move these so that we can have that cool little pattern. So that is a radial repeat. It is one shape that then is repeated again and again and again and again. Now, I do want to show you a place that maybe we can get some colors as we work on this. And your designs, hopefully, will be a little more complicated than this. I probably should have kept this up here. I was a little ambitious thinking that we could build it live, but I'm actually going to do a little sword here just real quick because I think that that's a cool element. And you can see that we're literally just going to build this with a couple simple shapes, a couple rectangles. And I'm hitting M to grab that rectangle tool. I'm just trying to do this fast so that we can get through a couple other things. So let's go ahead and align this sword together. And you can see that it's actually making copies of that sword on the bottom, right? Everything that I do on one side is going to be mirrored on the other side. So let's go ahead and angle this, and then we will bring it over so that these kind of cross in the middle, right? Looking pretty cool. Kind of fun, and I definitely want these to have a red inside. So if we were working on this and maybe we wanted to find some other colors, I do want to show you real quick how you can find colors, and that is going to color.adobe.com. Now, color.adobe.com, amazing place to get a bunch of color schemes, and we're going to kind of go pretty quick here. We're just going to go over to the Explore. Can mirrored items be expanded later? Yes, we'll do that at the end, I promise. So we're going to go to Explore, and up here we can actually just type in a theme. So maybe we want a playing card. Let's see if this actually pulls it up. We may need to go to Trends. Yeah, sure. So playing card, and it's actually pulling up everything that it finds for playing cards. So this actually looks good, this red and yellow that's happening here. So we're going to click on Add to Library, and watch how easy this is. So we click on Add to Library. If we're signed in, it's going to come over here into Illustrator, and I can click on my libraries up here. Syncing, engaging. And from here, I'm going to go to that World Tour library that it's synced to. And if we scroll, we'll see right here, Royal Flush is now in there. That is the color theme that we had. We can right click on this and hit Add Theme to Swatches. And check this out. Up here, now this theme is in my swatches, and I have all those colors to work within. So we can kind of keep building this, and there is one more thing that I wanted to show you, and that is the use of multiply, right? So back in the day when we're looking at copperplate engraving, sometimes they would have to use 2 colors. And when they did that, they would actually have to separate everything into different layers, right? Everything would have to be a separate carving because you couldn't just print it with multiple colors. You have to have a plate for blue and a plate for red and a plate for black. So what we're going to do here is we're going to kind of show you if maybe we wanted to fill these with some color. So maybe we'll use this new red right here. And then down here, we want the face and nose to kind of have a different look, maybe that yellow, right? So that looks a little ridiculous, but if we wanted to, we could change the blending mode to multiply. And what that does is it's actually combining those colors. So the red and yellow don't really go together in multiply because they're similar tones. There we go. A blue and yellow create green, right? So it's basically just mixing those colors using that blending mode. So right now, this is technically only 3 colors. It is yellow, it is blue, and it is red, right? And if we wanted to, we could take some of this blue, right, that's in here, and then multiply these down as well and create a purple. That's going to be a very dark purple. So yes, multiplying with different colors does look really cool. It can get super fun and you can do some amazing stuff with it. But I do want to do one more thing, and we're going to make this red real quick. So with this all mirroring and whatnot, what we can do is we can select that and we can go to Object, Expand, and then hit OK. And I think what's going to happen here, let's hold on. Expand, yes. And then I think that we need to go over to the layer. And yes, someone asked if we could expand these. And I believe the answer is yes. But I also believe that I'm not sure how. Click to new layer, release to layers. Click to new layer. Did that work? Oh man. Oh man, it's gonna bum me out that I don't know how to do this. So there is a way to do this. I will show you, I promise, either at our next challenge or if I stream later tonight, I will show you that as well. But there is a way to expand that mirror and make it so that they do go together. Let me look one more time real quick right here. This is where it would be in my brain otherwise. Transform. All right, there is a way to do it, and yes, we need the Wade knowledge, but that is what I want you to do today, is to make sure that you have created a playing card, and you can do all of the different complications that you want. And the glory is you only have to do one side. So if you move anything on one side, it will be reflecting it on that other side. So I want you to build a playing card. We had so many more things. I was very ambitious today. But I want you to build a playing card, take the inspiration from what we have today. And someone says selecting the line, maybe. I'll play around with it. But I want you guys to build a playing card. That is the challenge for today. Use this reflect and use the layers. You do need to make sure that you are working on your own layer and you are applying the effect to that layer. Play around with blend modes, use different colors, and try to create something that's really fun, maybe something a little more complex to see what you can come up with. Once you're done with that, you can post it right here, bit.ly/AI Discord. That is the place to post your work, and hopefully I see some playing cards in there. If you want to, you can do a set of a few of them. You can just do one. You can kind of play around with as many as you want. And yes, Jack says if you have questions, ask them in #AskAQuestion. I am going to try to figure out how to expand this because it's literally going to bug me for the rest of the day. And I'll try to post in there over on Discord. I also will be going live on my Behance tonight so that we can maybe cover it there. And make sure that you do tune in at 2:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for another episode of Adobe Office Hours. We're going to be hanging out and having our season finale, so it's the perfect episode to tune in and hang out. And if you missed any of the prior challenges, again, you can go to behance.net/challenge/Illustrator to get caught up. It is our last challenge for the week. Oh, tear. But we will be back next week with so many challenges. Next week's going to be really fun. We have a couple of my favorite stories from design history. So we're starting out next week with Juan Bautista Bodoni, if you want to do a little bit of research, and working with some amazing type, which is known as fat face type. That is the technical name for it, fat face type. So do some research if you want to learn a little bit more about that, and make sure you tune back in at the end of the day, 2:30 p.m. for our episode of Adobe Office Hours. Thanks for joining today. Sorry, we kind of ran out of time. We had so many things to cover. We'll maybe do a follow-up on this one. We'll do a follow-up on this one. I'm excited to see what you create. Hopefully you spend a little bit more time, really flesh out those playing cards, and I'm excited to see what you make. Stick around for the XD Masterclass with our friend Howard Pinsky. He's awesome. He's super fun, and it's going to be a great time. So stick around for that, and then hang out for office hours after. And I will see you next week for some more daily creative challenges here on Adobe Live. Bye.